All right, I am so sorry about that. Yeah, that was a minor little power outage, and it totally forced my router to and internet to reset there. I am so sorry about that. Let's get this ranking going. Good Lord. All right, so that's up and running. Okay, so we got our monitor, everything. Okay, perfect. Sorry, guys. Welcome to the Purple and Gold Bar Show. I'm so sorry about those technical difficulties. I don't know what happened there. It's a beautiful day outside. It's not storming, no nothing. And we had a little flicker of power outage there. So hopefully we can get through this live and get through this power ranking. We're going to do a live calculation, kind of giving you my brainstorming and showing you how I come up with the most accurate power rankings here on YouTube. All right. I am your host, Supreme Overlord, aka Mr. AI Man 3000, aka Mr. Purple and Gold Bars at your service. We are on the road to 500 subscribers, so I do wish and hope that you guys can hit that like and subscribe. That way we can try to make it there by the end of the calendar year. All right, guys, let's get right into it. Let's start the show and get the intro going, and then we're going to start calculating. Alrighty then. Here we go. So, we got a bunch of teams that have made some moves, some that have been a little bit stagnant here. And let's see what we can do with these rankings. All right, so Seattle won an ugly game. Let me pull up on this monitor. Oh, no. All right. 1, 8. Okay, yeah. I remember now. That, yeah. Let's see. Well, they were on bye this week. All right, so we need to look at some teams here. We need to see what's going on. We got to do some recalculation. So, Anders lost pretty bad with it. It's very difficult for them right now as it stands. So on bye, we have Arizona, Detroit, Jacksonville, Las Vegas, the Rams, and Seattle. Now, we got some big time losses this week. We can definitely put them here. I don't know if the Chicago Bears deserve to be here. I feel like these three teams are interchangeable, and just because this is the Vikings, throw a little bit of favor our way. Might be gonna be a strong end of the season. Anybody here in this? The Chargers up to 12. Man, San Fran got trolloped. Excellent. Basically, I don't think anybody can be justified to move up into the top 12 from here down. Right? Bad loss, bad loss, bad loss. Bye week, bad loss, bad loss. Bye week, bad loss. They lost. They got their handed to them. I guess you can bring this team up. We'll show a little love to the Texans. We'll put them there ahead of ahead of our teams. Look, please. Like Stephen A says, just wait a minute, because what will go wrong, what might go wrong will go wrong, and that's the Dallas Cowboys. Oh man, I can't wait for this week's playbook. How did the Saints do? Saints got trolloped too, so I guess anybody out of the basement that needs to be moved up. You know what? Let's bring time for the Baltimore Ravens to make their way back up into the mid tier. They have the most potential out of anybody out of the basement. Let's move the Dolphins into the bottom of the garbage pile. Garbage. Still working on it. Not that they're garbage. They're just bottom feeders. Still got so many. They're the extremely flawed team. How do you lose to the freaking Jets Bengals after what a collapse? All right, so I guess we're pretty close with the middle of the pack down. I think anybody can argue these ones, but I don't really think anybody really cares too much. So we'll leave these guys in that middle room where they're basically the same team. They just got some weaknesses, some flaws. They've got really good games, they've gotten really bad games, and everything in between. But have not done enough to even justify being in the top 12 here. Now, we'll go Steelers there. The Bills, like I imagined, go here. KC might be able. We can move probably the Eagles to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? These two guys are on bye. Oh, and the Colts are on a freaking heater right now. I don't think the top 5 teams, top 6 teams, probably you can't ignore. Broncos with a trounce of the Cowboys. How embarrassing was that? But are they better than Green Bay? They're both flawed in different ways, but I think Green Bay is a better team overall, even though they're both top 10 teams. So I think the Patriots are better than all the, you know what? I think the Patriots are better than the Bills as of right now, based on what I've seen. So we can move them there. I don't think they are better than the Bucks though. But I think anyone can make an argument from Indy all the way to the Buccaneers to say this is the best team in the league. I literally would not be upset with any other combination of these teams right here. And I want to put the Eagles here at 5 because they're in that crucial state where, are they that good? That's like the same spot that I had the Chiefs in. I'm going to move the Chiefs up one more because they've kind of been showing more growth, but I don't want to like jump them straight up to the front of the pack and then have them lose to a team that everybody thought they should win and show some more difficulty. I feel like they're a really good team, but they're not like that top echelon. But I wouldn't be upset at anybody trying to argue with me that they should be in the top 3 or even the top 1 because they do have the talent, right? They can be dangerous when they need to be. And I think you can say the same about all these 5 teams, all these 6 teams right here. I don't think anybody wants to face the Colts right now unless you're one of these front-runner teams, knowing that they can kind of put an end to their hype train. Seattle, even though they keep having mistakes and stuff, throwing interceptions, having some weird fumbles, stuff like that, they still find ways to win and overcome adversity, and that's a great sign if you want to be playoff contender, right? Lions, they've got a whole bunch of injuries and stuff, but their offense is still pretty dominant. KC, you know what? Do this. Let's put them there. Because KC did really put a beating on these Lions and exposed their actual weaknesses here. The Eagles are in like that stage where, are they fixed? Are they still struggling? You know what I mean? I think that injury to Cam Scatterbo really turned the tide on that game. I think that was such a gut punch to those Giants that it really made. It took the wind out of their sails. On top of those really, really bad freaking really bad freaking ref calls really turned the tide of that game. I think if everything was right, no injury, and the refs were good, I feel like it was going to be a really close game, and it might have even been a coin flip. And I was just gambling that the Giants would win that game, even though it didn't go that way. We didn't get to see that actual game play out. Thoughts and prayers for Mr. Cam Scatterwell, man. He's one of my favorite running backs because I like angry runners. I like the way that he likes to bulldoze through people. I really wish him a quick and speedy recovery and hope that it doesn't affect him going forward next year. because those Giants are going to need him. They need that energy. They need that confidence that they have when they see him do those monster runs, even if it's for 1 or 2 yards. Texans, man, what a beating. Adventure time with Chris. Hey, Texans are on the up and up right now. I don't know if we can we justify them over the Steelers right now? You know what? I'm going to put the Texans here, and I'm going to put the Steelers there. That was a massive win. Let's be real. Everybody expected them to lose that game. I definitely did not pick them to win that game against the 49ers. I thought that Christian McCaffrey might be a little bit too much, and their just versatility to find ways to win when they have so much injuries. I think they would be able to beat a very dysfunctional team. But you know what? The Texans maybe they were just working on things, and now things are they're on the better side of that. So we're going to give them some credit, right? And we're going to put them at 12. One of the two teams that I like to make my power rankings a top 12 because I want to show the two teams that are, nipping at the ankles of the top 10 teams that are basically saying, you guys mess up, we're taking your spot. So, and I think the Texans proved a lot this week. I think they proved a lot, and that's why I'm going to put them at 12. Outside of that, let's see. What is going on, Samuel? Welcome to the chat, my friend. It's always a pleasure to have you. One of my day ones. Absolutely love you, brother. Thank you for joining us also, Mr. Adventure Time with Tim. Now let's go through it because I think that we're pretty much, I feel like this is a sign of the power rankings being pretty darn close to reality, because I feel like I can argue just about any team from the top 6 up, from the Buccaneers up to the Colts. I have a strong argument I can make for every single one of these teams to be the best team. And I'll show you right now. Lions offense and Lions staff, their coach, their everything. Their defensive coordinator showed a lot last week, going in stopping in Baker Mayfield and the Bucs and throwing him off his game with literally everybody out. That shows a deeper level of confidence in their team, strategy, their offensive coordinator's brilliance, and to see someone beat a top team like that when they're that injured, on top of the fact that their offense is extremely, extremely good, I can definitely see them at number 1. Now let's look at the Colts. Man, is there a better player right now in the NFL than Jonathan Taylor? We had this argument a couple weeks ago on the Real to Sports podcast talking about which player is right now the best player in the NFL. It was Bijan Robinson because he's on a historic pace right now. And, others wanted to say, I put up, I was like, Jonathan Taylor, Jackson Smith and Jigba. These guys are doing incredible things. I went with Jackson Smith and Jigba because I feel like he is the main reason that the Seattle Seahawks are doing so well. You take him off that field right now, I don't think Sam and the rest of the team looks as good as they do. I'm just going to be honest. They're still going to look like a very good team, an above average team, but Jackson Smith and Jigba, JSN, makes them look incredible, right? And when we look back at the Colts, they have arguably the best player in football right now. Danny Dimes has definitely looked to have adopted a new perspective, a new outlook after witnessing what it was like to be in the Minnesota Vikings quarterback room, and he has been playing lights out. Nobody can take that away from him. They do have a couple blunders. They have a loss early in the season, but you know what? It's okay. I was neglectful of them in bringing them this high in my power rankings because I didn't want to make the cardinal mistake of throwing them up to number 1 and then watching them fall apart when they played good teams. And then they played good teams and they beat good teams too. So I just can't deny what I see when I watch them play. They're a very, very good team right now. So I can definitely see them being the best team in the league. Let's look at the Seahawks. I can make an argument for the Seahawks. Jackson Smith and Jigba. could be the best player in the league right now. He's definitely carrying the load. There are plays that he makes that totally bails him out of tough situations. Their defense is playing great. Sam Darnold is playing great. Their coaching staff seems to be on the right trajectory. Man, any given Sunday, I feel like they can beat any team in the league right now, especially in the regular season. We'll see what that looks like in the playoffs because we know Sam struggles in big games. But as of right now, they could very well be the best team in the league as well. Kansas City, the same sort of situation. They've looked beatable at times. I've been saying, hey, man, you can't count these guys out, even though I think that division going forward is going to be wide open. I think that this year, like I said prior to the season, I think this is the year where the Kansas City Chiefs look the most beatable. But don't get me wrong. The amount of experience, the great coaching, their quarterback, the players that they have, they make it into the playoffs, man. They got enough experience and talent still to really turn it on and win with crafty veteran ways, or they can just straight out beat people just on talent alone. Right? There's a lot of good stuff to go from the Kansas City Chiefs, even though they don't have the record that the Colts have or any other of the top leading teams. I still think that they're up there with them, right? So I wouldn't be upset at anybody putting them at number one. Same with the Eagles. They've had some really bad games. Yeah, -4 passing yards in one game, 0 passing yards in the second, getting beat by the Broncos in embarrassing fashion, and then getting dog walked by the Giants that everybody wrote off this year are definitely big red flags. But at the same time, they find ways to win. Is it a thing of they needed to face that adversity to overcome and become better and maybe turn their season around and kind of get refocused and back on track? I don't know. The season is still pretty young. There's still 10 games to play, right? So, but as of right now, can I deny that they could be the best team in the league? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Next, let's look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just decimated with injuries. Now they've lost Mike Evans for the rest of the season. At the very least, maybe he might come back in limited fashion in the playoffs, but let's be real. It's going to be tough for them going forward, but I'm not worried. Are you? They've got Emeka Mbuka looking like he can definitely hold the load. And even when they're this decimated, they're still finding ways to win. In last week's Real Sports podcast, we were talking about, is this going to affect Baker long term? And I said, heck no. Are you kidding me? That offense, it doesn't matter. He can throw to me out there and we'd win games. Okay? And I'm a 41-year-old guy that's got a little bit of athleticism left. I don't even know what my 40 time speed is at this age. But I'm sure that he could find me open, if I just scramble in the right way and look for the holes in the defense, he can find me for some meaningful yards. And that says something about Baker Mayfield. But thank goodness he doesn't have to worry about having some scrub like me out there. He's got NFL caliber players, even though they are the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th string receivers, they're still way better than any one of us. And he's been proving that he can win without having top guys. And this week, when a lot of people said that we might see a regression from this team and that the defense isn't as good as you know what? I've been saying, did you guys forget that in that Lions game, even though they didn't do so hot, the defense kept them in them? They made some credible sacks. They caused Jared Goff to throw an interception. And if Baker had kind of locked in and found that extra gear that we've seen him find and bring back games and win, he might have made those touchdown passes that he completely whiffed on. And it might have been a completely different game. I don't know. The Lions did a fantastic job of making him uncomfortable and not allowing him to get into rhythm. So, and then this week, you saw what they did. They came out to show that we ain't ones to be played with, right? So I can very well argue them, right? But let's go back to where the teams should be here. Let's go there. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go here. That's what we're going to see. And also, when I look at these teams, the bottom of the top 10, the Patriots, the Bills, the Green Bay Packers, and the Broncos, you could easily say that any one of these teams belong higher than they are or right where they are, that you can interchange these guys easily. You might even want to put the Patriots here or even here. I wouldn't be upset with that. I think any one of these teams you can argue the same move, but in my opinion, I think these are the real contenders to make a dent against these front runners up here, because we're starting to finally see some front runners in this NFL. Unlike from the start of the season where it looked like everybody could have potentially sucked. That's the reason why we love football. Man, it's a good season to watch football, man. Ooh, it's good. God is good, guys, man. He is giving us one heck of a season. If you're not even a Viking, if you're just a fan of football in general, the amount of games that we've seen that have just been top tier, we've seen upsets, we've seen literally just about everything. We've seen shootouts, we've seen a tie. It's been a fantastic season. And I think that these top 10 teams, I think, are the ones that are definitely ahead of everybody else. And I wouldn't be upset if we move these around a little bit, but it all ends up being the same. These guys are right now, the top 10 are the teams that deserve to be there. The Chargers and the Texans, the Steelers, the Bears, the Vikings, the Commanders, if Jaden Daniels gets healthy and comes back out there, could easily make their way up to 12 or 11. But it's going to be hard for these teams 11 and below to really make a dent into these top 10 teams, because they're starting to set themselves apart. I don't think anybody gave the Broncos, except for me, because I picked them, let's be real, to beat the Cowboys this week. But I said, you know what? This is the type of defense that Bo Nix can shine against, because they're hot garbage. And they're literally last in almost every defensive category. So, of course, Bo's going to do good against a team like that. Just about any quarterback's going to look good against that. But the thing is that can Dak Prescott and the offense play against a good defense? And like I've been saying, I think the Broncos defense is going to be one of the top 2 defenses at the end of the year. I also put the Vikings there, but we'll see how that plays out as the season goes. It's not totally out of the question yet. They have some great defensive statistics and rankings, so it's still a possibility. We just got to see how this rest of the season plays out. But for sure, that defense is no joke. And it just proves that Dak might struggle against good defenses and good teams. And, you know, what will go wrong can go wrong. Because that's the Dallas Cowboys, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed the power rankings this week. I want to thank every single one of you guys for joining me. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. We are on the way to 500 subscribers, hoping to get there by the end of the calendar year. Now, I wish I could do my weekly picks right now, but I have another some other obligations that I got to do here coming up in about 40 minutes. I got to head out and do some outreach, and so yeah, I will be back. I think I'm going to be gone from 4 to 6 Eastern. And so sometime around after that is when I will be back with the weekly picks live. So you guys can see what my picks are for this week. And hopefully we get more right than wrong this week. Because, man, this start of the season has been really, really difficult. I'm thinking around 6:30, maybe 7, Samuel, Eastern time. So about 3 or 4 hours from now, roughly, in between around that time, that's when we're going to be back for the weekly picks video, where we go through all the games of the week and try to make sense of it all and pick some winners and losers, all right? Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I am your host, Supreme Overlord, a.k.a. Mr. AI Man 3000, a.k.a. Mr. Purple and Gold Bars at your service. I love every single one of you. It does not matter which team you're from. In the words of the great Mike Sports Vibes, sports is supposed to bring us together, not separate us. And the banter and the trash talking and the trolling is all in good fun. There's no animosity and real malice behind anything that I say. I just like to throw people's energies back at them sometimes, especially these Lions fans, because, man, they are cooked. You guys hear that? They just massively paid Aiden Hutchinson? That roster's getting very expensive, and it's going to become very mediocre soon as they start to lose players because they just can't afford what they have. Speed running to a last place schedule. Absolutely. All right, guys, you guys have a wonderful afternoon. I will see you guys at the next live. Take care.